She's giving me a little Westboro Baptist Church vibes. Just
Yes,
a little, right?
just a whiff.
Did I
Did you
come?
ever take a tip with your mouth?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absurd. I wonder how
What the
much
hell are we doing?
poo and cocaine I ingested.
I want you, baby,
Hmm.
down to your knickers. Yeah.
Hmm.
Don't wash your tights first. Yeah.
Oh, gross.
Sure.
Okay.
I can't hear you
Sure.
say that now. I
Maybe that's
know.
the title of the episode. Sure.
Sure. Sexy
Sure.
guys in striped shirts.
In the name of entertainment, ban the ballet!
Tonight on Murder, She Wrote.
Our good wishes.
Ah,
Woohoo!
this is tonight. I'm Brother Shiro. Hi, I'm Victor Devon,
I'm petrified.
and ban the ballet because it is full of commies.
Yeah. We don't want that red. What did she say? That red skis or something?
Oh my God. Can you believe? So this happens every once in a while when I'm watching with my husband and it's an 80s show or a 90s show and Nazis and satanic panic and anti-communist sentiment is like satire. It's not satire anymore,
Oh
folks.
no.
Oh God.
Oh no. Yay, us.
This could be Marjorie Taylor Greene
Oh,
telling us to ban the Rusky Ballet.
oh, jeez.
Ah,
Something tells me she would be pro, and she
well, here we
just doesn't
are.
even know it.
And this is Death Takes a Curtain Call,
Death
which
takes a curtain
is
call.
ostensibly episode 10, our 10th mystery,
Hmm.
depending on how you slice it,
Or nine. Or
or 9. But this is an interesting. It's a Cabot Cove. It is
we
also the last of the Claude Akins episodes.
it sure is. Let's give an applause. Some applause to Claude Akins.
He's right here in this
Yep.
opening scene, eating
Pie.
something. Eating pie? I don't
I
know.
think it
Yeah,
was a slice of pie. Yeah.
which is interesting. So we go a distance before we get Seth, who is her foil a
Yeah.
lot of times, which
Yeah.
means we only have Tom Bosley and the guest stars to work with.
Hmm.
Because suddenly Claude Akins, who again only did like 4 or 5
Four
of these.
episodes.
Yeah.
Four. So I have a little
Oh, please.
digging that I did, and I'd love to report back because we had sort of conjectured about why Claude was on the show for such a short time and whatever. Um, it turns out there was a New York Times article written in '84, and it turns out that there were some problems or some conflicts in the writing room with Angela Lansbury. And
Mm.
so what actually was happening is, and Claude Akins was also advocating for a bigger role in the series. He wanted to be not just like a sidekick character, but like a duo with her. And
Mm.
I don't think that sat well with Angela Lansbury, for one. There was also sort of this uh, incon inconsistency with the type of people that Jessica Fletcher was associating with. She thought that because she was an author and like a world-renowned author that she should start associating with sophisticated people. And the writers wanted her to sort of be more of a salt of the earth type
Miss
of
Marple.
person. And so exactly. So that's where the conflict was, and essentially it pushed Claude Akins out of the show, largely in part due to Angela Lansbury's insistence.
Listen,
Yeah,
there's a reason that it has her name as executive producer towards the end. She
that's right.
she was going from Broadway shows, so 8 shows a week, fucking sign time,
Hmm.
then committing to this, which is a very different medium.
Totally.
And she just wanted to live in her cottage in Ireland with her husband. So basically, you gotta give her what she wants to make it
Give
worth her
her,
while.
give the lady what she wants.
Exactly. And I'm not, I mean, any woman who's gonna advocate for that. And you know, I have to say, Claude Akins is a fine character in some of these episodes, particularly the driverless car episode where he actually
Hmm.
is a co-solver of the mystery, essentially.
Hmm.
But it's her show.
Exactly. Well, and you'll notice that when Seth comes in, he becomes much more of a supporting character and a secondary character, and he doesn't run the show the way sort of Claude's energy does. And maybe this is just me trying to think too deeply into things, but I wouldn't be surprised if, aside from just the writing issues, that created kind of personal issues on set
Sure.
when Angela is running a show and some guy who's supposed to be a secondary support character is sort of trying to inch his way into more of the spotlight. And
I mean, we saw this also with Tom Bosley because he
sure.
was a regular guest star, but never got uh proper credit. The only
Yeah.
person who ever star in the show is Angela Lansbury.
Yeah.
Most series have co-star credits,
Right.
and every single person is a guest star
Yeah.
except for her.
She is the one.
Yep.
She is the
Uh,
pinnacle. Okay.
yeah,
Anyway.
yeah. No, it's
Detour,
this is
detour.
all part of it.
Yeah.
So
Um,
this is a Cabot Cove episode, though,
mhm.
and culture has come to Cabot Cove
Can you imagine?
in the form of this ballet and this gentleman's very tight ensemble.
I mean, I'm not going to complain. I enjoyed this
No,
first scene.
I have created the hashtag Hot Guys of Murder She Wrote on Instagram for a reason, everyone. Just so you know, there have been 3 inductees thus far. Uh, as of the time of this recording, the Lovers and Other Killers episode has just gone out. So David Tolliver has been added to our list because we
Mhm.
spent most of the episode objectifying him.
Sure did.
And I don't know if you've seen his shirtless photos from IMDb, but I've
You
posted
know,
them.
I didn't see them until you posted them, and then I felt like we named that episode correctly. Let's just say that.
um, Lyle Wagner, because of course Lyle Wagner, and then
Hmm.
that I don't remember his name. It's a fleeting glimpse, but he's that guy who blows the whistle for her, so to speak, in that top episode. But
Ooh,
here,
salacious.
we have another. We also have
Yeah,
another Jessica, Men of Jessica's Rolodex.
sure. So what's happening in this episode? Jessica has gone to the Russian Opera in Boston with her friend Leo. Um, and there was a really weird interaction when they were being seated. I think it was the house manager or somebody who works at the theater. I don't even know that the character has a name that's important,
It's like an
but
usher, yeah.
yeah, hands Leo a special program from the bottom of his deck. And Leo's being all weird. Leo, by the way, is Russian, which I didn't pick up until like halfway through the episode.
Yeah.
Maybe the
Well,
accent's not
this
great.
is Cold War realness right
Hmm.
here. This is 1984. Um, and I did forget it does start in Boston. So I said culture comes to Cabot Cove, not yet. And technically there's no production. But that does say something that for sophistication she has to go out of state.
Hmm.
Uh, and we meet Leo, who is a friend,
Just
a
a friend.
colleague or just a
Yeah.
friend, and he
Another
invites her
he also lives in Cabot Cove, I believe. That's what they're saying.
occasionally.
Yeah.
Um, and he is played by Hurd Hatfield, who
Hmm.
starred as Dorian Gray in The Picture of Dorian Gray with Angela Lansbury for 1945.
He was
So
a striking man for sure.
he was and he appears a couple times as different roles
Yeah.
in Murder She Wrote, this actor.
Hmm.
But Jessica's immediately suspicious by that playbill storyline.
Hmm. Oh, and now that Usher is giving Leo some visual cues and sneaking around.
We
Okay.
saw this was hinted to in that televised part where Claude Akins was talking to
Yeah.
Jessica. This rabble rouser who's very upset that the Russian ballet is in America.
Yeah. Velma Rodecker.
Velma
I
Rodecker.
will never forget her character name because it's just pristine. It's just the best. And she's in this dowdy green coat and like
She's
bucket hat or something.
she's something because she is loud and ostentatious,
Hmm.
but she's also, I don't know, like there's this I guess this kind of role in the 80s of like the Karen, essentially, like what we would call now
Hmm.
who's clearly in the wrong. Like we're not meant to agree with her.
No.
Um it's not oh passive activism.
Sure. She's giving me a little Westboro Baptist Church vibes. Just
Yes,
a little, right?
just a whiff.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
Leo leaves during the performance,
yeah.
and there's
And
curtain
Jessica is
call.
discombobulated about it.
She's utterly thrown,
Hmm.
just utterly thrown. There's
There
curtain
was also a
call.
moment
Yeah,
backstage where one of the ballerinas was sort of hit on by kind of a greasy stagehand or something, right?
yeah.
And the Russian security guard, or I don't even know what his role is, he was like, "Stay away from her, bitch."
He's like the what do you? Sorry, she's going.
Velma.
She's
Okay,
going.
Velma's on. Ruskies, that's what it is. Ruskies. I don't know
Yanked
if that's
from the
a
stage.
that's a bad thing to say. Maybe I should check
Rescue?
before I run my mouth.
I mean, the Russians are fine. I
They're
don't think
good.
it's gonna hurt anybody.
They're good.
And this is, of course, a really interesting, like, to watch this while everything going on right now with our government and
Hmm.
Russia is sort of fascinating because we sort of view, at least I do, that as all sort of the past. Like it's basically like the Berlin Wall, the Cold
Yeah.
War, all
Yeah.
of this is a period piece, and yet, and I don't know a whole lot about Russian government in 1984,
Yeah. I don't really either. I mean, just what sort of popular culture has taught me.
but it's the height of the Soviet Union.
Hmm.
Um, there's a great deal of civil unrest. We actually have a few episodes of Deflectors. There's another one in
Excuse me. Yeah.
that's not Russian. It's German, I want to say. It's a German
I think
episode
there's a German. Yeah. Well, because
related
this
to
would
the
have
Berlin
been,
Wall.
yep, exactly. Exactly. Um, so Jessica gets Leo finds her and rushes her out of the ballet to a car. She what does she say? This isn't the front of the theater entrance. Girl, go along for the ride.
I
She's
know. Well, this is actually a precursor to any number of gentlemen who fuck with her
I was
and get
thinking the
her
same
involved.
thing.
It's very
Good old.
Dennis Stanton. It's very
Mm-hmm.
Haggerty,
Mm-hmm.
characters that we have not yet met,
Sure.
but will be very important to
Who's the Len Cariou?
that Haggerty.
Hagrid. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the MI6
They just
agent.
use her up. But you know what? Considering how much she manipulates the people around her, you know what? Maybe she had it coming.
Well,
So
because
she,
she has a good heart. She helps, even
yes.
if she quote unquote shouldn't.
Hmm.
So she's being met with these two dancers who want to deflect from the Soviet
Hmm.
Union
They're
because
the
of,
stars of the show, right?
yes, they're the
Yeah, they're the
lovers,
stars. Yeah. And they
and
are
it's our
lovers.
yes, and it's been established also that he had some sort of relationship with that ballerina that got hit on,
Hmm.
and then was her honor was protected.
Yes.
But for some reason, they're now going to Maine to
Yeah.
hide them
Yeah.
because again, I guess that's because that's where Leo lives.
And also, like, no big deal, but Jess is like, okay,
Well, she says
take it to my
this
house.
is well, now there's a murder involved because somebody is
Sure.
dead backstage. So not only are they
They
deflectors,
didn't
but
know.
they are
Yeah.
murder suspects.
Hmm.
So much has happened,
Um,
and we are only 13 minutes in.
I know it's hard to keep up with it, isn't it?
And this
Um,
is the killing, right? This is the murder of the episode.
that's it. At the very beginning. Rarely does that happen.
He has barely any lines, and it's all just about how do we protect these two people who may have killed this guy just so they could have deflected.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if it wasn't them,
Who was
who had
it?
time? Was it what was it Rhoda? Was it Rona? What's her name?
Velma Rodecker.
Velma Rodecker. Was it
I
Velma?
will never forget Velma. We shall never forget Velma Rodecker. Um, oh, and then who's this greasy guy who hit on the Irina, the ballerina?
This guy in the sweater vest?
Yeah. At first I thought like, ew, what a yucky character. But then he turns out to be pretty innocuous and actually quite funny in a
Oh, and
dumb
Jessica
way.
gives it to him at the
Yeah, she
end.
sure
I
does.
do, I do love it.
She's like, you're trash. Get out of here.
Well,
Um,
and we meet Major Karzov here, who is in this
yeah.
suit. He is committed, this actor William
Oh
Conrad.
my gosh. Everybody else who's playing Russian in this episode is garbage compared to William Conrad. He is supreme, and he has that booming voice. He's great.
I know
Yeah.
he's like the Orson Welles of the
Yeah, very
space.
Orson Welles. And he and Jessica are really like a great match, right? Their energy is both very assertive and they have a great rapport.
He's
They're
kind
fun.
of another men of Jessica's Rolodex
Hmm.
because at the end there's like not
Well,
tension,
just
but like
yeah,
a why don't you stay? Go
yeah,
fishing.
yeah.
Don't you want to go fishing, Major?
Well, it's so funny you say that. There was another mention of that article that Jessica Fletcher or Angela Lansbury didn't want Jessica to be a woman who had her sort of toes in another bed every night. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's also one of the reasons why Claude Akins wasn't really working because it was creating like
Moonlighting
a weird,
situation.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So the major is here to get his Russian dancers back, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But in this case, there's a
So,
murder.
well, because it's complicated because the security agent is KGB, which adds
Yeah,
on, a whole other layer of, jumping jack
diplomatic,
flash.
yeah, international espionage intrigue. Yeah, this is the
And
first episode that really kind of dives into. I don't. This isn't really so much of a whodunit for me as much as it is like a foreign affairs thriller.
yeah, it's a world
Yeah,
events. It
yeah.
actually is, I think yeah, it comments on world events in a way that other episodes
Hmm.
had yet to.
Hmm. Which is funny because the murder ultimately, you know, is not that interesting.
No, I mean, again, it's sort of, again, the MacGuffin is sort of just to get us where we're
Yeah,
going.
totally.
The intrigue is sort of like a hiding these people from the bad guys
Hmm.
situation.
Yeah.
And this is substantial because like these are scary, scary times. The idea of hiding not prisoners of war, but suspects
Yeah.
of uh Jessica's
She's,
basically breaking a couple of laws here.
I was gonna say she's taken a lot of risks to do this.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but we know that she's pretty willing to put herself in a
She's
lot of
above the
danger
law.
in many
She's
different
above the
ways.
law.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she does not engage Amos in the caper because she finds I said this before, she finds the police incapable, but she has great
Hmm.
respect for them.
Sure. There's a police officer in this episode too, but he doesn't get much to do. It's the FBI agent. He's just kind of curmudgeon and cranky the whole time.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's like the link between
Yeah.
Boston and Cabot
Yeah.
Cove.
This episode has a lot of tertiary characters that I'm like, huh? What? Who?
Yeah. I mean, you kind of can just sort of, if you don't know the politics, and I appreciate this in a cozy mystery because we only have 44 minutes
Yeah.
to really establish. While admittedly, many people who were reading the news and living life in 1984, this was part of daily life. So
Yeah.
it's not dissimilar to the way that we would just wave a Ukrainian storyline
Hmm.
or we
Yeah.
would wave a Desert Storm storyline in the 90s.
Yeah. Exposition
Um,
is unnecessary because we are living in that
right.
context right now. Yeah. But in looking back, it's like
Looking
it
back
really
40
sort of just lifts right
years,
out and we lose the context a bit.
and yet can associate it with
Yeah.
any number of other things. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't listen to a lot of other, I don't listen to any really commentaries on Murder She Wrote. So I don't know
Yeah.
if there's anybody who has really like dove deep in a socio-political level. That would be really
Hmm.
fascinating if anybody ever does.
Yeah.
I mean, we're basically, two theater facts that are, talking mystery, but
That's right.
somebody
That's
else,
what's important here.
if ever anyone else wants to, I will listen to that one.
Yeah, me
If
too. Me
anybody
too.
wants to talk to about
A
the
video
social,
essay, perhaps? Please
you know.
be our guest. Um, is Jessica still in Boston? She still is, right? And she sent Leo and the two defectors to her place. She asked Ethan to help hide them.
Yes, Ethan Claude Akins to basically give them protection, and she doesn't
Yeah.
know what he's going to do.
Yeah. And he
But
begrudgingly calls her woman and does so.
I know, I know.
God. He says it, I
Shades,
think,
shades of Seth. Yeah.
many times in this episode.
Natalia, and she scratched his face while Alexander stabbed her.
Yeah. So
So
there's,
the
yeah.
person who, so the conjecture here is that the guy who was killed found the defectors as they were leaving and they
Mhm.
fought. She scratched his face and she being, we're talking about the orange
N
juice. She scratched his
Natalia,
face and
yeah,
he, uh,
stabbed
what's
her
his,
with a prop dagger,
stabbed with a prop dagger. Yeah. And
which
then
is
ran away.
not, yeah, which is part of the show.
Yeah.
And in the last scene, which is the wedding scene, they mention this. He doesn't have that dagger on him, which
Yeah.
means it was backstage.
Yeah. And my first thought was, why is a prop dagger so dangerous? What's going
It's the
on?
ballet. They
But then
commit.
I then I remembered when I was in college, I did a production of Sweeney Todd, and I played Sweeney Todd, and I I was doing the scene, and I actually cut my thumb and had to hold my bleeding thumb in my back pocket. So it's a
In front of
liability.
Sherry Renee
Theater's a
Scott,
lot.
right?
That's right. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I love her so much. Oh,
Yeah.
Sherry. I hope you hear this.
If you would like folks at home listen to that story, Petrified on the We Burlesque podcast, Music That Made we talk about
Yeah.
him performing for Sherry Renee Scott.
Theater's dangerous.
Theater is
Yeah.
dangerous. I mean, as a drag performer and as a burlesque performer, we've done terrible, terrible things in venues that really didn't have the insurance for,
Oh
for our
my gosh.
choices.
Sometimes I think about how often I used to crawl on bar floors and how in contact with how
Mhm.
many germs did I
Did you
come.
ever take a tip with your mouth?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absurd. I wonder how
What the
much
hell are we doing?
poo and cocaine I ingested.
I don't know. Just,
The title
negligible
of the
amounts.
episode, Poo and Cocaine. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Just
That's a little too far.
so much. So who's this gentleman in the robe here? This
He's the
is
one who was
Leo's.
the usher at the
Yes.
theater or some kind of
But
house
who does he
manager.
end up meeting? He is basically
As far as I know, Leo
an
is
Underground Railroad figure. He helps people
Yeah.
deflect. Yeah.
Yeah. I think he essentially gave Leo he told Leo where to put a change of clothes, right? I guess we get to that later.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have much of a role in this episode beyond this, does he?
He helped. Somebody has to
Yeah.
be that
He's
guy.
a
And he's
he's
also
sort of a
providing some
exposition.
exposition.
Yeah.
He's letting us know why it's important that the
Yeah.
Russians leave. Yeah.
And we're learning more about Leo too, because Leo was a defector.
But he did it in a way that was uh less controversial, I guess.
Yeah. What were his circumstances
I don't
that made him
remember.
defect? Yeah,
I
it
mean,
wasn't like
Russia.
leaving during the middle of a world tour of the ballet, which all I could think of was like, what are they going to do at the next stop?
Oh, he opened the window in the musician's room. That's what he
Right,
did.
right.
Bring a change of clothes. Here we go. See, it's all coming together. Folks, we watch ahead. I tell you.
We sure do. I watched this last night at 1 a.m. So let's see what
I
I
mean, this is
hold
season
on
one,
to.
which I have seen many, 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 many times.
Yeah.
There are actually very few episodes in the first 8 or 9 seasons that I skipped.
Hmm.
Very few. And I'm looking, and honestly, the ones that I do skip, I'm looking forward to contextualizing with you on this pod and
Yeah,
giving it a reason to fucking sit through it again.
sure. There are
Uh,
some that I don't like watching and that I avoid, and so that'll be interesting. Look at it
there
through a
is
different
one
lens.
that infuriates me, and I'm not looking forward to it, frankly. There's one that makes me so mad the entire time.
There's one. I
Uh,
wonder if it's the same one that makes me so mad.
does it involve Frank?
Yes. That,
That
and
damn
yeah.
woman, that woman who gets yes, that's the same episode.
Hmm.
Uh-huh.
I guess that was a misstep, or at least for us.
Infuriating. All right, folks, you heard it here. We're gonna go in someday.
We're gonna
Ah,
so
all right.
Major, I just love him. Can we hear his voice a little bit? I think the
Yeah.
folks at home need to hear just this booming presence. Orson Welles.
I hope he did not startle you, Mrs. Butcher.
No, I'm afraid I startled him. Thank you for the bodyguard, Major Karsov. I wouldn't have dared to walk the streets alone if I hadn't known Mr. Naji was following me.
It was a wasted exercise interviewing Mr. Reddington, madam. The fibers found in Berinsky's watch band matched those of Velma Rodecker's sweater, and traces of Berinsky's flesh were found under her nails, as you suggested.
They've arrested her for the murder?
Yes, and while I have no sympathy for a neurotic anti-communist, I regard it as a most depressing development.
I
So
love that.
great. So
I think
great.
she's disappointed too.
I know. They could have population 3,560.
Wow.
That is our Cabot Cove population today, folks. Although
Yikes.
we haven't counted all the beds to see who's died.
Ooh, I
Oh, he's
think
so
he is
cute.
adorable in this little sailor outfit. Is he still wearing eyeliner though?
Oh my, yes. He also
I mean,
has
that stuff
those.
does not come off
He
unless you
has
got
the
one of those Neutrogena wipes.
those eyelashes that are dark that look like it. Also, it like it's
Hmm.
automatic smoky eye.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Now this is so George De Palma. Sorry, George de la Pena. Is this actor here? He
Hmm.
is a ballet dancer.
He was the one that looked like a dancer. Oh, I also have to give a throwback here. Because during the dance scene, when we're actually seeing parts of the ballet, I
Hmm.
couldn't help but think this is the sloppiest ass ballet I have
I
ever
know.
seen. It did
I
not
know.
look good.
It's like when we go to
He
a
looked
quote
good.
Broadway theater later, and I'm
Yeah,
like, this is an auditorium.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was like,
I
and,
will.
and then
I
people
will.
like leap to their feet and give it a standing ovation. I'm like, I would have walked out at intermission. What the hell is your problem? You people don't know good theater.
But you can see him in several things, including the biography of Nijinsky. Um,
Oh,
and
that's fun.
he also was in the Nutcracker, of course, and a number of different properties where he's playing, dancers. And he was in
Hmm.
the original Broadway cast of On Your Toes with Miss Elaine Stritch.
Oh, rise. Couldn't help it. So Jessica is at lunch with the major. Wait, what just happened? Tom Bosley sort of just stumbled onto these
Oh yeah, yeah. Let's go back a little bit.
deflectors in Cabot Cove,
So,
and
and
oh, she
he
looks cute too.
She is, and Tom Bosley's a little too into it for just a
Yeah,
second
it's a
there.
little gross. Oh, what a pretty little
What a
thing.
pretty little thing. But it's
Gross.
it's a moment where he has this conversation with Alexander, the ballet dancer, and
Hmm.
Alexander clearly has an accent and
Yeah.
can only say, "Yep,
Nope.
nope."
But we all know that Bosley is about as uh, bright as a paper box. So
There's a Frasier episode where Daphne has to hide that she's British. She goes, "Sure,
sure,
sure,
sure.
sure."
Yeah, my first office job ever, I had a colleague named Freya. She was the coolest woman ever, and she was from the UK. And one day we were ordering lunch, and she said, "I'd like a burger," and we couldn't understand what she was saying. And then she was like, "Burger." Yeah, poor thing.
Ah, so Major and Jessica are spending more time over tea trying to deconstruct this murder because the police are doing nothing.
Yeah,
And
they just
admittedly,
assume it's Velma.
right. And
Well, because
that
they
should
found
be
traces
enough for
of
Major Karzov. Why
yeah,
isn't it enough?
yeah.
Now this is just hanging out. This is just social calls.
Hmm. Because they like each other.
They
They
do.
they like each
Aw,
other.
you
They're
baby.
sweet on each other a little bit.
Now we
And now
meet
just
again Arena,
hmm
the other ingenue who we saw getting hit on earlier. She turns out to be a friend of Natalia and
Natalia. Yeah.
Alexander. Yeah. Former
She's great in
lover
this
of
episode.
Alexander.
I really like her in this episode. She's She can't keep her eyes. She's got those big Betty Davis kind of eyes too. Maybe
Yeah.
not quite Betty Davis, but
No, but
they're
they're
big doe
bold.
eyes. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
they're bold.
And they look terrified the whole time.
And she is
She's very
also
cool.
not Russian.
Nope.
She's Australian.
Nope.
Uh, and I know that
Bad Russian accents.
we we see Americans struggle through British accents all the time, and
Sure.
yet we see
Sure.
How many British actors nail American accents
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
brilliantly. And I'm like, oh right. To the point where
Listen,
they have to do like press tours for America for the movies that they do in American accents.
yeah.
Like it took years for me to know what Christian Bale actually sounded like.
I mean, not everybody can be Meryl Streep or Naomi Watts or Kate Winslet.
I don't know. Because that part of it is the shtick, though. I remember when
Hmm.
that was sort of like the joke about Meryl Streep was that she played all these roles so that there was no, you know,
Totally.
there was no ruse. But for a lot of
Yeah.
these folks, they don't want to lean into the fact that Andrew Garfield is British, like that kind of
Hmm.
thing.
Yeah. Do you remember that number that Meryl Streep number that I did?
Of course.
Just had clips of every accent she ever did,
Hmm.
basically. Yeah. All hail
I
the street.
remember it well. I remember it well.
Okay, so Jessica just stumbled. She just came back to Cabot Cove and has discovered that Ethan has enlisted Natalia and Alexander to just
As
work at the
free
dock.
labor, as
Yeah,
free labor.
I mean, capitalism, baby.
Because what are they going to do? What are they gonna
Truly.
do? They
Fight
gonna
back?
lodge a complaint? Oh,
And something tells me they're good workers. There's young, nubile.
and now it's time for a dinner party. I hope she made
Oh,
her
they are
salad.
really cute. They're so sweet.
Very cute.
He's
Very,
adorable.
very, very, very cute. Oh,
Okay,
a
so someone's at
doorbell.
the door. Someone is at the door. Oh, that's right. It's not even the major at this point.
No, this is some. He's here to bug her house
Essentially.
to try to
Also another
find.
character that is really has this is it. This is all he
No, but
gets.
he's also adorable.
He's very cute. I'm not going to
All
argue.
these all these cutes in striped shirts.
And his thick ass Maine accent.
Well, because he's laying it on pretty thick,
Yeah, yeah.
and Jessica trips him up with some
Hmm.
trivia that I only know from this show
Yeah, I would have
that
never guessed.
evidently Maine means up north or up I forget what she says she's coming. Let me see. Here we go.
Letitia.
Down
Hello,
east.
ma'am. I'm from Maine. Born and bred up near Bar Harbor.
Down east evidently means Maine, and I don't know how an upper northeast is down east, but evidently it is. I don't get
Sure.
it. I don't get it.
Well, have you ever
Maybe it's a
heard the
Canada
whole
thing. I don't know.
like parts of Maine are considered like northern Massachusetts? They even say that. Like sort of the southern coast area up to
Yeah,
Algonquit, Boothbay.
yeah. I
Have
guess
you been
I
in
mean,
Maine?
a long time ago. A
Oh,
long,
it's
long time
so
ago.
beautiful. Wow, it's pretty.
Long, long time ago.
Hmm.
As a New Englander, I was born in Connecticut. We did quite a few New
Yeah,
England trips, but not often to me because it is out of the way. You really
yeah.
have to commit to that.
This woman must have such a high IQ. She knows right off the bat that this is a phony who's come to tap her phone.
She knows her job,
She sure
and her
does.
job is getting Russians out of war zones. Ah. Now, I
So
did a
interesting.
quick glance over at Natalia. She doesn't have a lot of credits,
No,
but I think she actually might be Russian or at the very least uh Ukrainian or something
I mean, I don't think
because
she has more than
all of her roles are like Magda, Natalia,
well, her
Dama.
last name is Kriegler, so that must be like an Eastern European, Central Eastern European name at least.
Yeah. But she's not a
Um,
dancer in the same way that
no.
Alexander is.
She
So
she really does nothing in the episode. She is just a lovely
she's
presence.
lovely.
She
And
maybe has three lines.
it might be a language thing. She might
Yeah,
not actually speak English
sure.
in
Actually,
that
the two lovers, they're pretty inconsequential, all things considered. Even though they're sort of the plot focus of the episode, they do very little.
yeah, they're the hidden object. That's
Yeah,
really all it
that's
is.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
shiny and sparkly, and boy are they.
The
So Major has
Mazurovs.
shown up at Fletcher's house.
Rodecker had a very interesting story to tell.
Ooh, now we get to know what happened with Velma Rodecker, my favorite
Yes.
character.
Possibly removed
So she was the one that scratched. She did scratch him, the victim in the face. What is the victim's name?
I don't know, KGB agent.
She had a
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine. We don't need anything else.
Yeah. He's the security guard. That's fine.
watched as the man climbed in through the window
Uh,
of the Viola case.
See, we don't get we don't get to know about him because he's not a bad guy as far as we know, but
no,
if
he's a
we
means
knew
to an
more about him,
end.
we might like him, and it might not be okay that he was murdered.
A description of the
Yeah.
murder sounded
Usually there's someone
Yeah.
really despicable murdered, or like in the episode with the car, hit run homicide. We don't know
Yeah.
anything about them.
I don't know
They're
anything about them.
just they're just a
They do.
walking
There
body.
are a few.
betrayer of his own
Oh,
men.
damn. They killed
Yeah,
this nice person,
yeah,
and they use that to great effect. And it's
yeah.
usually someone that hits
Hmm.
Jessica very hard.
Yeah. When it's her relative or her friend or
Just someone she met on the street.
yeah.
Remember, she was really invested in that secretary that she
Uh-huh.
had signed her book, and then she was convinced she
Oh,
had to say,
well, like the Lila Lee episode, we like that character.
"Oh yeah,
That's
oh yeah,
sad. That's real. That's actually really hard to watch.
yeah."
We
Although
want
there
her
are
to succeed. We want her to win.
great performances in
Yeah.
that episode
Yeah.
too. Oh, he is here in a cardigan and a
Leo
bow tie.
and a pink bow tie. Oh, it doesn't look good to me. I'm not into this
No,
look.
no, it doesn't.
No,
It's the shading is all wrong.
it doesn't read. It washes them out too.
So that my niece and nephew would have
These are the important things we're talking about here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The
That
Cold
fuzzy
War.
sweater and an
Meh.
ugly pink bow tie with black pants.
We're here
It's
with
like
the
a
Soviet Union. Let's talk about the ties and the sexy
Meanwhile,
guys in
Major
striped
looks very
shirts.
dapper. Sexy guys in striped shirts. I'm always here for a sexy guy in a striped shirt,
That
please.
might be the episode title.
Okay, sexy guy in striped shirt.
And also, Jessica's such a nerd. She has a framed portrait of William Shakespeare on her wall. Fucking geek.
Nerd alert, nerd alert. Geek, geek. Are you a Shakespeare fan?
I like Shakespeare. I
Yeah,
very, I mean, I like him for the wide breadth that he wrote because the
sure.
adaptations, there's so much to work with.
Uh-huh. So much to
So
mine.
yeah, and
I
it's
love a
also
Shakespeare interpretation, a modern,
yeah.
like Clue,
Give me some Scottish play. Give me
10
some
Things.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, well, my one of my favorite musicals is Kiss Me Kate, and that's
Oh, sure.
yeah. Sure.
Okay.
I can't hear you
Sure.
not say that now. I
Maybe
know.
that's the title of the episode. Sure.
Sure, sexy
Sure.
guys in striped shirts. The tally ho, did you see the boat that
I did,
the
yes.
bugger is on? This is also he looks
I
like a
thought of
Batman
you.
villain. He looks like one of Penguin's henchmen.
He does with that. Oh, jeez. At least he's cute. Okay,
Oh,
so
Jessica's
Jessica
laying
is
a trap.
calling Irina.
She is sweaty.
Those big doe eyes.
And she's
Okay.
speaking. I love that she's also speaking so plainly so that the bugger can hear her.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Irina is her energy has changed after this call. So basically she said, I have your friends are up here. Also, Alexander told me to tell you this. Says what we can only assume is perfect Russian. I'm sure it's not.
Yeah.
And Irina's
Basically,
like,
my heart is
oh,
still with you. Yeah.
yeah.
I want you, baby,
Mm-hmm.
down to your knickers. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Don't wash your tights first. Yeah.
Oh, gross. I'm all too familiar with dirty tights.
And then you
Hey.
turn them around and the dirty part is on the
Oh,
top of your foot
jeez.
that you put in. Yeah.
That's the worst.
That's the editor. Oh, we got a jog. Look at
A
her
fussy
go.
one.
Woo!
Well, we forgot to mention that Major at the house kind of he got a little surly with Jessica
It's cranky.
for interfering. But boy, they had great. He was still polite to her.
He's getting frustrated, but
Yeah.
he's not going to be rude. He's
No.
he's not a diplomat, but he's just there's dignity. He has a great deal of dignity. Even though by this point, the United States was sort of like Soviet Union is making some bad decisions here. They
Hmm.
treat his character with a great deal of compassion,
Oh yeah. He's
especially at the end when he's like, if only things were different.
he's not a one-dimensional sort of villain. He's actually really interesting and he has good values and he just comes from a different system and
Yeah.
different loyalty. Now Irina is missing.
God, it's an epidemic.
Everybody's deflecting.
He's so mad.
He's
He's
so mad at
so mad.
at Sheriff Tupper.
Ah.
Sheriff Tupper's being like, chill out, man. Take it easy. We're all good. We're all good.
Right, so Irina has conned the guy who was flirting with her, again,
Hmm.
inconsequential sleazebag, to drive her from Boston to Cabot Cove, Maine.
Which is, it must be at least like 3 or 4 hours, right?
Oh
I
yeah.
mean,
Oh
Boston
yeah.
to Maine is not
Minimum.
that far, but where's Cabot Cove? I guess we don't know.
Uh,
She,
they
good for
make
Arena
reference
though.
to Bangor. So it's got to be somewhere. So Bangor to Boston. Let's just use that as a litmus. It's a 3.5 hour drive
That's a
right now,
lot.
so that's a
Yeah,
lot.
it's probably longer
Yeah,
then.
it's probably cars didn't go as fast back then. Uh,
No, they were still in horse-drawn buggies and carriages.
I also want to know like what sleazebag's thought behind this is. Like, oh, I'll drive her and then I'll get
Yeah,
some. Like, what's
she's after 3.5 hour drive, she's gonna give out, put out, not give out. On the contrary, I kind of like his styling. Nice brown jacket, pink shirt.
yeah, you know what?
Nice.
It's classic. The belt's a little weird for me,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he
I do
clearly
not like
takes
this
takes
on Jessica.
pride in his appearance.
Yeah,
No, Jessica needs a scarf.
that cardigan is way too long. I like
So
her.
many.
So she goes to her kitchen phone, so she can misdirect the guy listening in,
Well,
our
we have
cutie
these.
in the striped shirt.
I don't remember a whole lot of scenes where we see her going room to room to room in one or sweeping shot or
No.
set of shots. So
Mm-mm.
she has like just the decor. I just think I love it. I love set dressing.
Me too.
I love it.
I love being in her house. Feels
It just
right.
seems very comfortable.
Yeah.
Seems very comfortable. And I like how when they show the guy who's bugging her phone, they show him on the boat. It's just him at the controls, but the camera's wobbling back and forth like he's on the
Like he's
waves.
we have
I
to
appreciate that.
establish a place here.
Look at all these
Just like when we're in
tankards and
Seattle, we need to
cups.
see the Space Needle. When we're on a boat, we need to sway and rock.
Like this is grandmother's house. Here we come, right here
It
with all
sure
of these
is.
plates and cups and
I'm gonna say it. I know that Jessica loved Frank very dearly, but I think she leveled up when he passed. Major's there again.
oh wait, hang on. That was that let's get that line.
Yeah.
That's when she answers the phone. Hang on.
We have company. Major, Amos, did you forget to search my fruit cellar?
No, Mrs. Fletcher. My man just reported that.
Oh, the delivery. The delivery is
It's so
so good.
condescending.
So good.
Oh, and Major has found Irina now at Fletcher's house.
This is not good.
And our sleazeball in the back's like, I don't know what's going on. Just forget
Like,
about me.
I guess the ballet is dark tonight because they're missing three cast members.
It must be like Monday or something. Um,
And I
oh,
guess
and
this was what? This is oh yeah.
Irina blames the sleazeball,
Oh yeah. Oh, she's
bitch.
I mean, when you have the opportunity,
I
blame the
guess.
sleazeball.
I guess. But in this case, I'm like, that poor guy. Not
All
really,
right.
but
Aim is tough guy right here.
They fought in front of witnesses.
You conniving little commie.
Just hold it, Sonny.
Amos comes to her defense like, listen, you. Listen. Don't you talk that way to this pretty young thing.
Mm. I think this is a really great sort of uh, killer reveal confession. Again, most of these are made good by the people playing the killers, right?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Everyone has to monologue.
I will say they cast this show really well because most of the time these are very satisfying scenes.
Well, this is why I say some of the earlier seasons are more effective, not because of the tonal shift, but
Totally.
because I feel that the actors that they hire skew younger and they kind of suck. Some of
It's true.
them.
Yeah,
They're not, I mean, this is a young actress, and
she
yet
is.
she is matching the theatricality of these older actors
Yeah. She
point for
has
point.
presence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just yes, it's a massive tonal shift, but it's also a strong change in how what shows we're looking for in casting
Oh yeah.
and how they were filmed and how they were scripted.
Yeah. Well, and so the big reveal here is that Irina is the killer.
Yeah.
Jessica knew it. Um, she's going to tell us why, but
It was a videotape of the curtain call. Everyone noticed that Alexander and Natalia were missing, but no one noticed that Irina was also missing.
yeah, because the stage was not symmetrical during the curtain call, which, by the way, on stage you always win an odd number, so I don't know what they're complaining about.
It's just for this point. It's just for this point.
That's just bad visual design. Okay,
Oh, she
so we're
looks so cool
recounting the
here, though.
murder.
Look at her in this out. Oh, she looks so cool, though.
She does look good.
This is a good outfit to kill somebody in.
She is a striking lady. Um,
And damn, Velma really got her nails in that guy.
oh, yikes. I when they showed him throwing her out with the scratches on his face, I was like,
Yeah.
that looks like permanent marker.
Oh, well. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, can
Oh,
we turn the oh, let's hear her.
I didn't think, I didn't know what I was doing. Please.
Jessica softens. Her eyes get twinkly. Oh.
It makes no difference anymore. Take me back.
Child, Major Kozov has no jurisdiction here. Amos, be gentle with her, please.
Yes, ma'am, I sure will. If you'll just come along, miss.
I don't know what happens to her because I don't know how this legally works.
Yeah, because she's
No one objects. I'll just get the hell out of here.
I was about to suggest the same thing, Mr. Fleming. Good night.
Oh, she's so good.
Get
Oh,
out.
she's so good.
Oh, I have so much sympathy for this killer.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she did it because she found the security agent who had just discovered the defectors, and she didn't want him to catch up to them because she's in love with Alexander. Is that right?
Yes.
She's
Correct.
holding out hope that they
That is
can be
the
together.
quick and dirty version of
Yeah.
that.
So essentially has almost nothing to do with political intrigue or diplomacy or
Yeah.
it's just love.
And I will point out that I've been saying deflector all of this time, and that's just the way you
Defector.
have to deal with it. I know. Yeah.
Defector. Oh my gosh, I
It's
think I have too.
yeah. 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 A deflector is something that prevents, I think, light hitting it, but
Yeah, yeah.
it may also be acceptable. But you know what we meant, people.
You
So,
do. I can only imagine who was listening, like, what the are they talking about?
well, yeah, they know. If they haven't figured out by episode 10, I don't know what to tell you.
We're not that dumb.
Every chance I get, of course.
Oh,
Maybe you could stay around a few days.
A few days. Unfortunately, days have a way of growing into years. So, farewell, my dear Jessica. I look forward to your next novel.
I'd like to send you a signed copy if it won't compromise you in the Kremlin.
Sometimes a man likes to be compromised, eh?
And he
Hmm,
kisses her
hmm, hmm.
hand. Yeah, he's not a bad guy.
No,
He's I mean, he's a bad guy for a lot of reasons. I'm not justifying the Soviets here, people.
sure.
But he's not the bad guy. How about
Yeah. Yeah.
that?
No. He's really likable. In fact, I think in all transparency, this is maybe not my favorite episode.
No, no.
However, I think he is just to watch his performance as an actor is really um that's enough reason to watch the episode. I think he's
Yeah.
great. So magnetic, such presence, such gravitas.
Yeah. He's
William Conrad.
yeah, good stuff.
Major Anatol Karzov. They're like, what is the most Russian name we can write?
We get some Russians along the way in Murder,
Hmm.
She Wrote. Obviously, this is what was going on through what, 91, 92.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this series ran right through that. It is fascinating to watch world events through the lens of TV series.
Sure.
Um, I mean, obviously, for us, a lot of that was very obvious when it came to like 9/11,
Hmm.
when shows had to or decided not to make reference to it, but it clear tonal shift and changes in things. How characters interact at airports suddenly is a
Yeah.
night and day difference in how reality is. So,
True. True,
yeah.
true, true. Well, that was Death Takes a Curtain Call.
Oh, everyone take a bow,
All
everyone.
right.
You did great.
Bad theater, bad accents, bright eyes,
Sex,
and good actors.
sexy guys in striped shirts. Good luck to you,
Hmm.
Alexander and Natalia.
We wish
May
you
you find
well.
what you're looking. Yes, we hope may you find what you're looking for. Awesome. Well, I think that concludes it.
Yeah. Do you have any final thoughts about this one?
Strong episode.
Sure.
Um, a fine send off for Claude Akins. I mean, I don't really. I mean, it doesn't say goodbye to him,
Yeah.
but he's useful in it. Um,
Yeah. He's just, you know, he's just not particularly likable in this series. Like I don't really care to see him again. I'm not going to
yeah.
miss him, I'll say.
He
No
also
offense to the Claude Aiken lifers, but
he wouldn't travel well. Like we
no.
actually get out of Cabot Cove with Tupper,
Yeah.
with Seth, with Mystery Man number four of
Hmm.
Jessica's list of lovers.
Hmm.
He doesn't travel well. So, and
No.
I know that that was one of the things that when oh sorry, when Angela Lansbury decided she wanted more creative control that they gave her, is that she did go more places. There's a
Hmm.
reason that there's more time in New York, that she does go overseas, that she spends more time. And there's pluses and minuses absolutely to that.
Yeah.
Um, but it really does show a dividing line between how the Cabot Cove residents exist in their own bubble.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't really work outside of it.
Right.
So, which makes the Cabot Cove episodes extraordinary because it's all very consistent. Wait till we get to the mayor. Wait till we get to Eve Simpson.
Oh
Wait till we get to
yeah.
Loretta. Like I mean, it's a fully formed universe, but it
Letitia.
really has has no real bearing in
No.
reality.
No,
So,
they're in there. It's like another planet, little
yeah.
Cabot Cove. So something that I was just sort of pondering as we were watching this, because we've now had many episodes where Jessica has sort of she has a match in the episode, right? Like an
Mhm.
energetic match that she sort of the back and forth, the rapport. In this case, it's Major. In the first episode, it's our good friend Preston, right?
Mhm.
Who ends up being the killer. There's always someone who sort of matches her energy, and it's so far it feels like it's all male, right? It's always some sort of male counterpart that
Yeah.
creates this energy with her.
With the
And
exception of Abby in The Dog's Life.
oh, that's fair. Yeah.
But even that energy is
Even
different.
that's not the same, right? And
Yeah.
I'm kind of wondering. I'm scanning my Rolodex of Murder She Wrote episodes in my brain to think, is there ever an episode where she has like a female counterpart? And the only one that I can think of right now is with Gene Simmons, who plays the other murder mystery author. Do you
Hmm.
remember that episode? Who
Eudora.
has that kind of, yeah, Eudora, who has that kind of match for match energy. And I wish there were more of that. I wish it weren't so gendered and always sort of laced with sexual tension. I like it
Yeah.
when it's
I
not.
mean, there are occasions where it is platonic, obviously when Grady is
Sure.
the back and forth.
Yeah.
Um that hotel episode, most episodes where it's where he's her only lead into the story.
Yeah.
Um but because part of that is because very frequently it's a police officer or a person of
Hmm.
authority.
Yeah.
And while Murder She Wrote does feature some deconstruction of gender roles, she's usually fighting against somebody of authority to
Totally.
show that she's as good as them.
Yeah.
So that's usually what it is it's if she had another woman in authority, and there's two police chiefs or two police officers that I can think of in future episodes where she does sort of have that
Hmm.
with, but they're not solving it together, they're solving it in spite of each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. uh but that's where we're at.
Yeah.
We're
That's
gonna keep that for a while, that energy.
that sort of
Yeah.
masculine, feminine, yin and yang. I understand why writers would choose that for the
Hmm.
balance of the storytelling. But I also know that like today we don't really think in those we don't really work in that paradigm anymore. Um, there's a lot more
No,
opportunity
it
for
is. It's a classic match though, because very
sure.
often it is moonlighting. It is that sexual tension, or it's
Yeah.
Agatha Christie. The two final survivors have to figure
Hmm.
out who else did it. Oh, it does happen also in the prison episode because there are
That's a
no
great
men.
episode.
There are no men in that episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she has to work with her. Oh, good Lord. She was in Psycho.
Not Janet Leigh.
No, it's
It's the
Vera
sister.
Miles.
Yeah,
Vera
Vera Miles.
Miles.
Yep.
So it does happen again. That one is also her fighting against authority in a way
Hmm.
because yeah, but it's a little different. It's a little
That is a
different.
scary episode.
Oh,
That
it's
is an
great.
uncomfortable, scary, high stakes episode.
It's
Can't
some
wait.
good shit. Great,
Can't wait.
great. And we'll get to it this year because that's season two.
Yeah.
Ah, but that was Death Takes Curtain Call, which is we're about halfway through the show. There's
The first
22 to
season.
23 episodes. We're almost at
Yeah.
the half point.
Yeah.
Our next episode involves the hypnotist in Vegas. So we're taking a turn again. We're playing all the hits.
And I bet we're going to see a lot of casinos.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Back when well, actually I was gonna say back when you could smoke, but actually you can still smoke at a lot of casinos.
Yeah, you sure can.
Oof. All right. Well, darling, it's been a pleasure.
A joy as
A
always.
bow, a bow, a bow. Stand up for what's right, people, even if it means stabbing the KGB officer.
Yeah, and house as many defectors as you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You learn a lot about yourself when you find out who wouldn't do that. And
Yeah.
thank you for saying defector.
And also and also you never know when they might be cute boys in tight pants. Yeah.
Big old cow piece.
Muscles
Bye,
bulging.
bye everyone. I'm Victor Devon.
I'm petrified. Bye.